Hey, geography class. This is Scott Burke presenting Afghanistan. Afghanistan is located east of Iran, uh, south of Turkmenistan, and north of Pakistan. The capital of Iran is Kabul, and they run off of government type Unitary Presidential Islamic Republic, uh, which means they can have a president. They run off of kind of like a democracy, but not necessarily, and it's mostly kind of Islamic based. The president is Afghan Ghani since 2014, and they run off of kind of the three branches that the U.S. runs off of: executive, legislative, and judiciary. A big, like, terrorist group and big power in Afghanistan is the Taliban. They're a fundamentalist political movement and is waging war with Afghanistan. They were found in 1994, and the head of the terrorist group is Maulo Akuzanza. I don't know how to pronounce that. The U.S. ordered the Taliban away from power after 9/11 occurred because they were a big suspect within the terrorist movement. The economy of Afghanistan is mainly exports and agriculture. It's like grapes and raisins are a big agriculture part of Afghanistan's economy, but they also sell a lot of mainly illicit opium cultivation and wools. That's like their main profit from their agriculture and exports. Their GDP is 19.36 billion, and their GNP is that's the gross national product is 73.13 billion, and 51.2 that comes from exports. Their main trading is with India and Pakistan, since they are relatively close to each other, and they are quite big with imports. They have market-based economy, and are the regulator of goods. So they kind of set the way for where everything is going to be. I mean, like it's like the crossroads of the Middle East. The economy recently has increased due to infusions in international assistance. They have been pleading for foreign investments a lot, though, so they have been begging for money and for wealth. The culture is very based over Muslim. The languages are Dari and Pashto. Their religion is 99.7% Muslim, 84.7% of that being Sunni Muslim or Sunni Islamic, and 15 being Shia Islamic. The ethnicity, there's 14 main groups, but a lot of them, the ratio is Tajik and Pushtua. The main food in there is pomegranates. It's not really an export, but it's a big cultural food. Islam's practiced 99% of Afghanistan, and is much of their personal and political, economic, and legal lives. So everything is run off of Islam. The Taliban continue to persecute, which means they continue to kill, and the Shia Muslims, and regularly attack their place of worship. The Taliban is a major terrorist organization. They are a main power in Afghanistan. Physical features of Afghanistan: they are landlocked, which makes it hard for exports since they don't have any water to export with. But they do get their economy done because of the begging. However, all right, let's walk around here. The mountains in Afghanistan are located northeast, and they're the Hindu Kush Mountains. The rivers are Amu, Hari, Kabul, and Helmand River. Agriculture lives in the northeast of the country, and most of the eastern Afghanistan is the Hindu Kush Mountains. Southwest is the Registan Desert, and it makes it very hard to do agricultural works there. The climate is subarctic mountain, dry, cold winters, and very hard to do agriculture, but they still do it in the mountains, so it's easy to get work done. And the history of Afghanistan was started in 1938 when the British forces invaded Afghanistan and kind of set where they were going to be at. In 1919, independence was established. 1978, democracy comes to power, but is paralyzed by violence. So people didn't like the democracy, and so they started using violent methods to change that. In 2001, 9/11, the U.S. bombs Afghanistan / anti-Taliban alliance forces to enter Kabul. So they kind of set an anti-Taliban note. In 2008, suicide terrorists attack Indian embassy. 2016, U.S. airstrikes Islamic States. And 2017, Islamic State's rise to power. 2019, a record 7,423 bombs were dropped onto Taliban. So the U.S. doesn't really like Taliban at all because they were a big threat to America. The U.S. invaded Afghanistan and is the longest war in U.S. history. Though not technically declared war by the Congress, it was the longest quote war that the U.S. ever had. And finally, the modern events. The U.S. respond to Taliban after 9/11. Osama bin Laden is killed, and the Taliban becomes more lethal with bombs. The Taliban restarts up after 9/11. The U.S. democratic government the U.S. supports democratic government but is still against the Taliban. Afghanistan becomes the world's most deadliest country for terrorism. And that's a big issue for the U.S., so we are taking extra precautions to avoid Afghanistan or bomb or save our country from attacks. And finally, Afghanistan has the highest terrorist record in the world. So, hey, you have any knowledge over Afghanistan?
Not a ton, but what I do know is that they're, of course, in the Middle East, near Iran and Pakistan. And they're a very impoverished country, and so they rely a lot on, financial aid from other countries. And the women in that country are not treated well. So most of them have not been to school or been allowed to work. Most of them are illiterate because of it. So they've been very repressed throughout the history of that country, and it's something that they're trying to turn around in their country today, and for the last probably decade or more. So it's just something that is part of their history that I think for women and around the world that we see, and we would probably like to help. It's just going to take time and a lot of effort to kind of change that historical thinking.
Thanks, Mom.
Yep.
Thank you.